Hello, welcome to the SBCSA's recorded Request for Grant-Funded Reimbursements module, How to Submit a Reimbursement Request through the Reimbursement tab in the GMS Portal. Let's begin. By the end of this module, you should be able to understand the reimbursement request workflow in the SBCSA's Grant Management System, also known as GMS, and identify the key steps required to submit fiscal obligations for reimbursement for approved subaward grant applications in the SBCSA's Grant Management System. The SBCSA previously provided training modules around GMS registration and how to log on to the system. If you have GMS permissions to the Request for Reimbursements tab, you can access all the needed areas of the GMS reimbursement request that will be needed to submit and manage requests for reimbursements against an approved budget detail for an executive grant subaward. Once you log into the GMS dashboard opens up as a default page. If you're ready to begin the reimbursement request process, simply navigate over to the Reimbursements tab located on the navigation bar on the left-hand side of the GMS portal and click it to begin. The Reimbursements tab is the mechanism for charter schools to submit fiscal obligations for reimbursement for approved subaward grant applications made within the period of performance. After you click the Reimbursements tab from the left navigation bar of the GMS, the Reimbursements page will open. At the top of the page, you will find 5 Request for Reimbursement related filters that GMS users can access. They are all, so all reimbursement requests, available, revisions required, pending payment, and lastly, the last filter is paid. GMS users can select one or more of the 5 RR filters to determine the appropriate task that they wish to proceed with, or to complete the RR sub-processes or workflow. So let's assume that the charter holder needs to complete and submit an available reimbursement request for the month. Once the user has selected the applicable charter school, if multiple campuses are managed, select the available RR filter at the top of the page to view all RRs made available. All RRs that are available against the approved budget details in an executive grant will populate on the page. So to begin the RR, first locate the applicable grant program and then the approved subaward. Click the Open button to open the available reimbursement requests and to begin on the RR workflow. Once you click the Submit Request hyperlink, it will automatically open the available reimbursement request workflow. As you see here, the workflow has 5 sub-process steps as noted by the 5 tabs at the top of the page. That is grant info, 2 is reimbursement request details, 3 is documentation, 4 is summary, and the last one is the attestation. Tab 1 of the available reimbursement request workflow provides general grant information listed for your review, similar to what you might have seen when you first applied for the application. General grant information components such as the school name, school code, primary contact, grant program, fiscal year, program start and end date, reimbursement status, amount of pending reimbursements, an amount paid to date against the grants, and total allocation amounts still available will be listed on the screen. So that's tab 1. Tab 2 is the next step of the workflow, the reimbursement request details. This is the main page where you will go to enter the desired reimbursement request details. On this screen, you will find a drop-down box below the reimbursement request details, as you can see here, that's highlighted in red. When you click it, you will see a list of eligible RR object codes that are available, which you specified when you first entered the budget details of the approved grant application. In this screenshot example, you can see that object code 100 salaries was selected, and once selected, one budget detail under salaries was found that may be eligible for reimbursement. If there were multiple salary budget detail line items available in the approved grant application eligible for reimbursement, you would see multiple entries once that 100 object code salaries was selected. To see the details of the object code budget line item specified, you simply just need to select the drop-down arrow associated to the particular budget detail, highlighted by the small red box here on the screen. And then once the arrow is selected, it will open the key elements associated to the approved budget detail on the subaward, including the original budget narrative that was originally specified and the cost calculation that was entered by the user. The approved budget details and associated cost calculation formula will display in the budget narrative for school reference. Enter the object code information needed. For example, for this object code 100 salaries, you would enter the employee's name, the gross pay, the month the payroll was obligated and completed when the employee was paid, and the payroll start and end date with as well as position and title in the notes section. Click the Save button when finished. After the required information has been completed, the GMS will prompt you to review and complete the attached pay stub or payroll report and time and effort fields, which will become active. The pay stub or payroll report is required because it has a red asterisk mark next to the field. Specific information must be highlighted on the payroll report before you upload the required documentation to the GMS. Please review the 100 and or 200 quick guides we have uploaded in Canvas, so 100, 200 object code quick guides. So please refer those that are uploaded in Canvas for further guidance. To upload your documentation, click the Browse field, locate the attachment, and attach. Complete the same process to attach the employer's time and effort report for the period. A personal activity time and effort report documents the workload percentage and distribution for the particular payroll reporting period for an employee who works on multiple cost objectives. For example, let's assume that this charter school has braided funding for this blended learning teacher assistant salary and benefits. In this instance, the blended learning teacher teaching assistant is partially funded by and supports the Title 110038 program, but it also proportionally is paid by and supported by other federal and or state programs. A PAR, a personal activity report, employee who is paid by and supports more than one program is considered a multi-cost objective employee, and a PAR which might look like a daily time log or may take another format as long as federal requirements are met, is required to be attached as their time and effort documentation for this field. In our example for this presentation, the 100 salary employee selected for reimbursement is a 1.0 FTE working, but it is a blended learning teacher assistant working on more than one cost objective. Therefore, this full-time employee's time and effort records will be required as a personal activity time and effort report through the GMS for review. The process for adding the additional RR requests within the reimbursement request details tab is essentially the same. You'll just need to select the appropriate budget detail filtered by object code. However, the required supporting documentation that must accompany the reimbursement request may differ by the object code selected. Select the applicable object code for the approved budget you wish to reimburse. That's the first step. Number 2 is to review the approved budget details available for reimbursement. Third step is select the applicable budget detail and complete the required form fields associated with the reimbursement expense specified by the different object codes. And then fourth is click Save. Then you're going to upload the required documentation and then review the requested RR selections for accuracy before moving on. At the bottom of the reimbursement request details page, you will also be able to view the request for reimbursement details you've just entered against the approved executed subaward. You can use the pencil tool to edit any components within the RR line item you've selected. Or alternatively, you can also use the trash can tool to delete the RR line item entirely as desired. And the copy tool can be used to copy the RR line item. Click the next button at the bottom of the screen once you have completed all reimbursement requests for obligated expenditures within the desired period. Let's take a look at Reimbursements Tab 3, which is the documentation screen. This screen is where you would add additional required documentation that was not identified under Tab 2. This is where you would upload, for example, the bank statement for the applicable time period requested. A bank statement or a copy of the issued check is required for each RR that request that. So you can see in this highlighted, this is highlighted in red and text here because of the screen. Since we've included this RR, we're going to need to add a bank statement on this tab. We've now reached Summaries tab 4. On this screen, you will be able to review a summary of all the budget details, which includes by the object code and the original allocation amount approved. The amount paid to date from the object code is listed, the amount pending, the amount remaining, and the amount you've just requested will all be summarized here. If it all looks correct, click the next button to finish the process. Almost done. We have finally reached the Attestation and Submission tab, which is tab 5. Add any necessary notes that you would like to include that pertain to this reimbursement request for this particular grant. These will be communicated to the Lead Grants and Projects Analyst, or GPA, who is assigned to review and approve your request for reimbursement. Read the attestation statement, and then click to check the box to indicate that you have read it. Enter your name and title. The date field will automatically populate. Click the Submit button to complete the reimbursement request process. Once you select the Submit button, you should see a Submission Completed Successfully prompt indicating your reimbursement request has been submitted to the SPCSA for consideration of review and approval. You may be wondering, well, what should our school do if we don't have any expenditures for the given time period that are eligible for reimbursement? It's a great question. So if you encounter this situation where you don't have any obligated expenditures to submit for any given time period, it is very important that you still understand that the charter school is still required to submit a no expenditures for the given time period and an attestation on or by the 15th of every month for the month prior. Here's a quick visual of the process. You would generally begin the process in the same manner as you would for submitting an available reimbursement request for the grant. Click the Reimbursements tab from the left navigation bar of the GMS, locate and select the available filter at the top of the reimbursements page, as was demonstrated earlier. Locate the applicable grant and click the Open button to begin the RR process. But instead of completing tabs 1 through 4 or reviewing tabs 1 to 4, you can automatically navigate over to the last tab, the Attestation tab, tab 5. Once you click that Attestation tab 5, you're going to click on the No Expenditures for Given Time Period box. Add any necessary notes that you would like to include that pertain to this reimbursement request. These will be communicated to the Leads, Grants, and Project Analysts, who will be assigned to review and approve your request for reimbursement. Again, read the attestation statement, click to check the box to indicate that you've read it, enter your name and title. The date field will automatically populate just as it would for any attestation for a regular RR. And then you just click the Submit button to complete that RR process. Once you select the Submit button, again, you will see a Submission Completed Successful prompt indicating your reimbursement request, indicating that you have no expenditures given for the time period will be submitted to the SPCSA for review. We believe that most of the basic GMS related questions you may have should be answered via the training, supplemental resources, and supports offered in Canvas. Please first review the Grants Administration Canvas repository for the applicable topic or module in question. And if you can't locate your question, then feel free to reach out to one of our grants unit contacts. Thanks for reviewing this recorded training module. We hope you have a fantastic day.